the people that worked there, the equipment guys, they snitched on you and told him that you wanted to whip his ass.
I did.
And so
couple times.
He told a story that he actually drove to your house.
Yeah.
And he said your mom was there.
Yeah.
Your grandmama was there.
Yeah.
And your great grandmama was there.
That's facts.
And he said to meet you in the garage. Tell us about that.
Yes, please.
Oh
tell us
yeah,
your
yeah.
side.
Oh man, so we had a practice or whatever, and I think it was after New Year's. It was like New Year's night, so I had went out the night before.
Yeah.
And I had told him, it was like we was going to the weekend. It was a Friday practice. I was like, yo man, it's New Year's. I ain't running no routes or nothing. Like I'm coming to practice, but I ain't gonna be able to practice, right? So he was like, hey man, I don't care nothing about no New Year's. You better bring your ass in here ready to play. Right? Mm-hmm. We got a big game this week. I'm like, yo, I'll be ready for the game, but I'm going out tonight. So I'm telling him this, right? So we get to practice, right? And I probably got home probably 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. So I'm tired. Yeah. The next day, we got to wake up at 7. So we got to be inside the building. So I'm working off 2 hours of sleep. And it's a fast practice because we call it Fast Fridays. So we ain't up there for about an hour. But I ain't want to do nothing, you know what I'm saying? But I told him that the day before. So he comes in there, and I'm getting there. He was like, and I would look at the script. You know, we got the script, and we got plays, and we got our numbers by which plays he want us to run for that Friday. So I'm over there, and I look at the plays. I'm like, yo. And I look at him. I'm like, yo, man, you got me on way too many plays. I ain't running today. I told you that. He was like, listen, man, just get your ass ready to practice. I don't want to hear all this other shit. So I'm like, all right, cool. So we get out there, and me and him were beefing back and forth. The period start. I'm on the sideline. He yelling at me, go in. I'm like, nah, I ain't going in. I said, get somebody else running. So somebody else run the next play. And then the next play, I was like, all right, I'll go in for one play. So I go in for the ref, and I'm jogging, to be quite honest. So I really, really messed up the practice because Matt was like trying to get our timing down and everything. And I'm just blowing it off because I went out the night before, right? Yeah. So I get home, right, and Terry yelling at me the whole practice, like embarrassing me in front of all the players and shit. He was like, you selfish motherfucker, you went out, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, man. Like, and then half the other people that was out there was with me when we went out, too, you know what I'm saying? But the emphasis was on me, you know what I'm saying? Because I was the leader, so I had to do what I had to do. So then, right, I get out of the field, I'm like, man, I'm finna go in this man's office, I'm finna whoop him. Like, I was really, like, on that, like, I'm finna go beat him up, right? So it was like, nah, man, you just need to go home. So he called me. He was like, listen, I'm watching this film. It's terrible. You terrible. I said, man, you know where I stay at, man. If you want to see me, just come on over here. I said, so we don't get in trouble by none of these white folks. So he was like, all right, I'm coming. So I laying down, I'm asleep, I'm getting a nap. My mama texted me. She come in the room. She's like, hey, your coach here. I said, where he at? He was like, he in the garage. I said, all right, bet. So I put on my shoes, right? I'm ready to go, right? So I put on my shoes and I get to the door. And my girl was like, what you about to do? So she comes to the door. She was like, she looked out. She said, what you want with my grandson? And he looked at her, he was like, he said he want to fight me. So she turned around and looked at me and I was like, yeah, Grand, I'm finna whoop him right now. She was like, you ain't finna fight this old man. She was like, you not finna fight this old man. And he over there was like, no, I'm finna beat him up. So now, my grandma was like, so what's the problem? Like, I can't be aggressive or nothing with him because she's standing right here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, we ain't got no problem. The problem is this man that came to my house without permission. I'm finna whip him. So my grandmother was like, ain't he your coach? I was like, yeah. And she was like, hey, y'all need to come in here. Let me talk to you. Yeah. So he started like talking to my grandmama, my great-grandmama and all this. And then they laughing and giggling, right? And I'm just watching the conversation. I'm like,
you still read this?
Yeah, I'm like, this ain't no fanfare. Like, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? So after that, they didn't laugh and giggle. They was like, now he didn't got to my grandma. My grandma was like, well, if you having any problems with Roddy, just let us know. We'll handle it. I was like, what?
So you were ready to put hands on him?
I was ready to put hands on him. I ain't lying to you. I was ready to put hands on him. I was going to whoop him out there, too. And then my grandma talked to them. They talked. Now they were best friends. Now every week he talking to them. They having this powwow every week. You know what I'm saying? And then one week he like, I'm still gonna beat your grandson. And my grandma like, no. Now one thing you're not gonna do, you ain't gonna touch him. Now if you touch him, I'm gonna give him permission to whoop you at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was. But that was some good times, you know. And Terry got real, you know, close with me and my family, and I mean, we went to Pro Bowls and everything together, man, and it was just a special moment.
Well, I believe, you know, I don't want to take the interview and just somewhere else, but from your wrestling background, I think you would have got coached, man.
Oh no, that would have been easy work. Man,
you were gonna do Coach Trubisky like
I wasn't gonna do him wrong, but I was just gonna show him like yeah.
It'd be funny to watch a coach and Rodney got him in the figure four. He's like,
yeah, I wasn't gonna do him wrong.
I told you my office hours from 9 to 5.
Exactly.
Hey man, look. Like I said, the relationship between a coach and a player is special. And it's dope that even in that crazy moment, y'all were able to build something special because he talked glowingly about you.
Yeah.
That's
he
a
talked
guy,
about
man.
you like a father would talk about a son. Like I talk about my boys, I talk about my nephews. Like he spoke very highly.
And the fact that he's been in so much part of history, like with Bo Jackson and all of that, like the conversation when he talked about you, he was just as animated as talking about them. So that shows the love that he has for you, man.
Well, I think like when you coaching people, you go through tenures. Like when he was young, he had a lot of those players, but he also had a lot of responsibility, you know, being with the Raiders and how they conducted business and how Al Davis was. It's like they only had to show. Half of them boys wasn't even going to practice. You know what I'm saying? So he was in that area where he had to go get people out of people's house and do it and get them to practice, you know what I'm saying, and pick them up from parties and get them to the game and stuff like that. Yeah. Like, that was part of the job.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Crazy, man.
Like, he was making sure some of the best players in the world was at the stadium for the game.
Wow.
You know, because they was out doing whatever the night before, but you know, that was football back then in the 80s and 70s and stuff like that. So he had a bunch of responsibility at such a young age and getting these guys ready to play just to get them to the games. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So as he gradually gets older, you know, you get a great appreciation for the game and the players that you coach. And there's so much resemblance between us and them, you know what I'm saying, coming from where we come from, coming from where they come from, everybody just trying to make it, you know what I'm saying? That you get to see the stories and see how our kids are brought up. You know what I'm saying? You know, seeing me taking care of 3 generations of people and just having my family around me at all times, you get a great appreciation for that because you get an understanding of the kid. You know what I'm saying? And how he is and what's his, you know, principles and things he stands on. So it was stuff like that he got to see in me. He was like, oh, like, you really a good dude and you special. And that's how our relationship just continued to grow and grow. So. Man.